Sound like a merry bunch. Right. I'll just give it another minute, guys, because I'm slightly early. I just want to make sure that everybody who needs to dial in can. Okay, then we'll make a start. Right. To be honest, there's sort of only one subject for me to cover off before I open up for questions tonight. So it's around the face mask, the FFP2s, and the non-mandatory wearing. So as I say again, the non-mandatory wearing. Okay, so Network Rail have punched out some guidance as well that they've agreed with ASLEF and the RMC. And this is based around the science of does anybody really who's not frontline dealing with highly infectious patients really need to be wearing face masks? And the answer, guys, is quite simply no. Okay, the mandated precaution for anybody is clearly the hand washing as a minimum, wearing or using the sanitizing gels, wiping down surfaces and making sure that those areas are clean, and changing your gloves, which we're providing. If you're closer than 2 meters, and as per the government website, and we'll send this link out so everybody can have a really good read of what the chief medical officer and scientific officer is saying on the government sites about working within 2 meters. If you are having to work within 2 meters of each other, your best form of protection is eye protection and your gloves. And the reason for that is when you've got a mask on, you get hot, you get sweaty, you move your mask, you get your hands contaminated, you forget to change your gloves, you forget to wash your hands, you touch something and you don't know that you might have any symptoms. That is really, really how it is passed. Body fluids like saliva, nasal mucus or phlegm. So that is the guidance. That's what Network Rail are advising all of their suppliers to do as well, which is to follow what they've agreed with the RMT and ASLAF. Now for us, what we're saying is, and what we have said is, that FFP2s are not mandated, neither is the forced air, so you have the two options. We are struggling, guys, and I'm going to be totally 100% honest with you, to source any FFP2s, and certainly not the FFP3s, because they're going to the NHS. The NHS, just to put some perspective on it, I only know this again because my wife is right on that, if you want to call it, the front line with it now at the moment. At the Norwich and Norfolk, they've run out of FFP3 and FFP2 masks for the staff. So the other day they were asking them to wear them, instead of changing them every hour, well actually it should be with every patient, and then it went to every hour, and now it's every 3 hours, and now she's in a surgical mask that you would normally get in the theatre at this present time until a new supply comes in. And I think every country is being affected exactly the same like this, because the PPE companies just can't keep up. So at the moment, what we're saying is, if we get some FFP2 masks, we're quite happy to put them onto the machines. We're quite happy if you guys feel still that, even with all the scientific advice and guidance that is out there, and as I say, I will send out a Stoneblower communications with all the links on, that you feel that, that makes you feel more comfortable, then go ahead. If you feel that you want to go on forced air, then again, or your respirators, whatever you want to call them, more than happy for you guys to do that. But the science is there. It clearly states glasses, gloves, hand sanitizer. That is the best way possible. Crew buses, okay? Make sure that they're wiped down after every shift. So the person that is driving, you know, you've got your wipes now. Make sure you're wiping the steering wheel, the gear knob. If they're like your plasticky seats, make sure you wipe your seats down. Make sure you wipe your door handles down, your window handles, all of the stuff that you would touch that somebody else might go in and touch after. So give it a wipe down. Make sure you wear your gloves in the van. That then stops any contamination that way. That is the guidance. And what we're trying to do is take exactly what the government is telling us, exactly what the chief scientific officer and exactly what the chief medical officer is telling us, and is informing the whole of the nation as well as businesses, so that we are effective in work, but also effective in helping the NHS deliver what they need to deliver. You know, and if we look at what is going on and the amount of equipment that is currently being purchased by NHS Logistics, so from the 10,000 ventilators, the opening of the NHS Nightingale Hospital at the Excel Centre in London, 4,000 beds, you know, all of the other stuff that's going on, we have a duty, and I think and a moral responsibility as human beings, to enable the NHS to be able to function properly for the people that actually need that care. And I'm for one, I'm not out there, so admittedly you might all think, well, that idiot sat in his house, he's not on shift, he's not within 2 meters, etc., etc. Get that, but I do have a wife that walks through the door that's been dealing with infectious patients all day, most days. So I get your worries, and I really do, because I'm living it here on a daily basis. But we follow the science, we follow the social distancing as much as humanly possible, unless you have to work within 2 meters, and it explains all about that on the link I'm going to send you. And we follow the guidance around making sure that we are clean, that we do the hand sanitization, and that we decontaminate or sanitize everything that we touch. So again, I just wanted to cover that off. That is the only point really today that I've been on calls about, that we've been trying to get total clarity around, so we give you the right information. And as we've always said over the last couple of days, it's not going to be mandatory. If we can get them, we will. You guys do, as well as the TGS guys, have the respirator mask, the forced air system that you can go on if you feel more comfortable. Don't forget to wipe your masks out. Don't forget to decontaminate them properly, and the airlines and all that sort of stuff that go with it. But that, I just wanted to make sure that you guys are aware that we are following exactly the guidance from the UK government, the scientific community, what Network Rail has agreed with ASLEF and with the RMC, and also in reality what we should be doing for the benefit of the NHS. And I'm happy, you know, I understand that some people might not agree with that, okay, but that is your individual prerogative. But we are passing on exactly what we get told when we get told it. And I'm not a scientist, and I'm not a medical person. You know, I take what they say as pretty much fact, because they're the people that are guiding the government at this point in time. So Dominica, have you got anything to add to what I've just said?
No, thank you, Andy. I think you've pretty much covered it. It's more if the guys have any questions that we can address.
So I honestly have not got anything else, guys, tonight to call out. I'm just looking back through my notes for today, and I haven't got anything. So yeah, we're open for questions if anybody's got anything.
Yeah, Morris here.
Hi, Morris.
Hello, mate. Same question. I'm getting no joy back from Adrian. I don't know if he's busy or I can't get hold of the pensions. So, about this death in service. Yeah, nothing's coming back.
On Morris, I spoke to Adrian this morning. Okay, and I reminded him that we hadn't had the official response yet, and he does apologise. They're not stalling, but if you can imagine the amount of work that Adrian is doing right now, reference the furlough, again, you know, devising all these policies to make sure that staff that might be furloughed are looked after correctly, that we've got all the payments in place and everything else. He has sent it. He assured me this morning he sent it, and I'm on a call with him on, let me just look at my diary, Maurice, 1 second. I'm on a call with him again on Friday afternoon, and I'm pretty sure I'll have the answer then, mate. So, but I will drop him another note this evening just to remind him.
That's lovely.
But I'll ask him to contact you directly, Maurice, instead of me, and then he'll just CC me anyway.
Okay, mate, that's not a problem.
Anything else, guys? No? Okay, well, look, again, you know, I'm probably going to say it every day, so you might just get bored of hearing it. But from me, I really appreciate everything that you're doing for the business. You know, it is difficult times, as I keep saying, but you guys are the ones that are keeping the wheels turning for us. If there is anything else that you guys think of that we could be doing that will make your lives easier, or that we need to be taking back to Network Rail, you know, we can talk about it again on the calls, and we will drive that forward as we have been doing. But again, it's just a thanks from me on behalf of the team and the executives